What is going on, guys? Welcome back to BlackTideTV. Thank you for joining me for a very special episode today, the one and done Anthem episode. I've already accepted the fact that today's video won't be doing as well as most of my other videos, simply because the content itself is old news. We're talking old news on a long dead and failed game. Anthem set out to do something really crazy with the video game world, and they basically failed on all fronts. I've been sitting on this gameplay and on this commentary, this topic, for a very long time, long before my hiatus from YouTube, and I still want to talk about it. I still want to have this video out there in the world, mostly because this game still burns my ass to this day. I was all gung-ho about Anthem when they first announced the game back in E3 2018 or 2017. It was a while ago. I was so all about it. In fact, I think there are videos on my channel from covering E3 of whatever year it was announced, where I thought, oh my god, game of the year, it's going to be incredible, it looks so amazing, and they totally lied to us. I mean, it's EA, what was I expecting? But I'm really disappointed in what we got from this game, just because there was so much behind the scenes meddling. Like, the game was not ready for consumption from the greater audience. Like, they weren't ready to give this game to us. But they got pushed from EA and they got pushed from uppers at BioWare, and the game just got rushed and it got chopped up into little bits, and no one really knew what they were doing with the game, and they ruined the game. And it could have had the potential. It had the potential to be an amazing game, to be an incredible game, and there are still some parts of this game that are really, really awesome. The gunplay feels really good, but it just gets repetitive, and the biggest problem with this game is the single player versus multiplayer functionality. When they first announced this, even I was skeptical, despite being super all about this game, where it was a single player story but a multiplayer experience in the world. Like, they're trying so hard to emulate Destiny, and it just did not work. So today I want to share with you 3 different stories of why this game should have been single player. In fact, I think at the very onset of this game's development, they were making it a single player game, because it would have been 1,000 times better if they cut out the multiplayer elements altogether and just focused on a single player experience. But they didn't do that. So I have 3 stories for you from my time with Anthem where single player would have made a lot more sense. The first of which is the campaign cutscenes. So I didn't actually play this game with a lot of people in multiplayer. Sometimes I had one friend with me playing, but we didn't really do a lot of parties on this game. I played it mostly single player, but even I noticed that the campaign cutscenes themselves would be incredibly hard to pay attention to if you were in a party with other people. I can only imagine, given how I've been playing Blackout with a group of guys, they don't know how to shut up when they need to shut up. And that's just how gamers are. That's just how guys are. When they get into a group and they start talking to each other, they'll start talking and they won't stop talking, even in the most dire of circumstances. Like when you need to be quiet, when you hear someone coming up approaching you and you're like, can everybody shut up please so I can hear these footsteps? Well, what about the campaign cutscenes in Anthem? There were a few missions throughout the actual campaign of Anthem where it would stop you mid-mission and you would go into a cutscene and everyone would watch their own cutscene. I can't imagine trying to watch those cutscenes with people like screaming or talking in the background. It's like, everybody stop talking so I can focus on what's happening in the story. Like, I don't know how you possibly do that, because it doesn't automatically mute your teammates, and you don't want to mute your teammates either, because then that's a dick move. But you know that there's at least one guy that's playing with you that doesn't actually care about the story, or because you're playing on another person's account, basically, when you join party, they might be at a different part in the campaign. They've already seen that cutscene and they don't care anymore, and they're just going to be rude and interrupt it, and you're sitting there trying to understand what's going on in the campaign, and they're not letting you. Number 2 is dungeon crawling with random players. So when you're joining onto other players to just do a mission. So the very first time I attempted a stronghold mission in Anthem, I was basically thrust into a game, and the game was already in progress. I'd never done this stronghold before. Very first time I'd ever done it. And I joined on 2 other players that were level 30. Both of them were very top tier level characters. And they had already done the stronghold a number of times from the looks of it, because they were flying through the match. And they were flying so fast that, I started the game and I was already halfway through the stronghold and I had no idea what I was doing there, because at the beginning of the stronghold they explain what you're doing. They never explained it to me because I wasn't there. I just showed up halfway through like, hey guys, I'll come and help. I don't know what we're doing, but here we go. So I didn't know what was happening, A. B, the guys were flying through that map so quickly and flying past lower level characters. I'm very low level, right? And I want to fight everything. I want to do everything. I want to pick up all the flowers and I want to shoot at all the scorpions that are crawling through the caves. They're like, you know what? I'm level 30. I don't need to get that experience. I just want to get through, defeat the boss, and get the chest at the end. So they are literally flying past shit while I'm trying to shoot at it. And the game actually drags you along with them. Everyone has to be in the same area at the same time, so you can't go at your own pace if you were joining on randoms. Instead, it'll just say, redirecting to your team. There's a little message pop up that says, we're adding you to your team now because you fell too far behind, and it does a little countdown like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it joins you with your team. I actually had that happen to me 3 times in a row. Like, I literally teleported because it stops you, it puts you to a loading screen, and then you load into the next part of the map. And I had it take so long on the loading screen between redeploying with my team that by the time I loaded in, I already had a countdown saying redeploying in 4, 3, 2, and it loaded me again 3 times in a row. That was the first time I had ever experienced a stronghold, and I thought, you know what? Not worth it. Backed out of the game and started again. And finally, I got a lobby that was brand new with people that didn't want to fly through everything. It just sucks. Like, in a game like this where you want to experience the world and look at the trees and shit because it's a really beautiful game, it sucks to have people that just want to fly through it so quickly. It would have been better in single player. And last but not least, the final straw for me with Anthem was the fact the game always required players to be online. Now, most multiplayer games nowadays expect that of you, but Anthem took it a step farther. Even if you were playing single player with no matchmaking, no other players, if your internet went out, you were being brought back to that main title screen. And that is exactly how I was playing when I was playing through the main story. Surprise, surprise, I couldn't find anybody else playing the main story to matchmake with at the time that I was playing. But my internet went out right as I was entering into one of those campaign cutscenes that we were talking about earlier. And clearly BioWare did not anticipate people to be entering cutscenes when their internet goes out because it totally skipped over the cutscene for me. We're talking about the major story mission in the middle of the game, the turning point, the pinnacle, the big plot twist, the big shocker, oh no moment when your teammate basically stabs you in the back, steals the thing that you're looking for, and completely screws over everything that you've been doing in the game so far. I had no idea any of that had happened because my internet went out right as the cutscene started, and when I came back, when the internet came back on, it had skipped over the cutscene, it had said that I'd finished the mission, and it actually started the next cutscene because there were 2 or 3 in a row. There was one that was in the mission and one that came right after the mission, and it started the one right after the mission where the guys are like, oh no, buddy just screwed us over and he stole this and he's done this, and now what are we going to do? Oh, let's make a plan. And I'm sitting there like, what? Excuse me? What happened? And there's no way in the menus to watch previous cutscenes. I had to go on YouTube to figure out what the fuck was happening. Let's just say I did what any reasonable person would in this circumstance, and I had a bit of a meltdown. I called my girlfriend for far too long of a passionate rant. She had no idea what was going on. She doesn't play the game, but I had to tell somebody because I was losing my goddamn mind. It was at that time that I decided that Anthem, you are dead to me. I am sorry you have failed me as a game, mostly because you were at your core supposed to be a single player game, but something happened in the development cycle and so many multiplayer cliches were pushed upon you that you had to compete with Destiny and The Division and all of these games as a service type games, whereas that is not what you were intended to be. The game could have been so much better if it was single player, but those are my stories, guys. I have finished playing Anthem. That was the last time that I played the game. Actually, I finished the campaign. There was like 1 or 2 extra single player missions that I played. I didn't do any more extracurriculars. I was done with it. I got to the end of the game and that was that. The game has not been in my console since. I'm very upset because I was so looking forward to this game, but they fucked it up and it sucks. So let me know your Anthem horror stories in the comment section down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new to BlackTideTV, and I will catch you guys on the next video.